Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you all to this President's Address. I'll be very brief because you've come here not to listen to me tonight, but to listen to Alice's President's Address. That's the important part of the occasion this evening. But after we have finished that, there will be a reception outside and the unveiling of an official portrait to which you're all invited. You just go back to the main entrance. But just a few remarks before introducing Alice. I think this is, and I have the privilege, I think, of being able to look in on this institution as a semi-outsider. I think this is an absolutely amazing institution. And what's very pleasing is that kind of amazing quality has been increasingly recognized, particularly in the last year with all, I won't go through all the things we've won, but just virtually on every front. Imperial has been found to be absolutely excellent, and I won't steal Alice's thunder. She may want to mention some of these things, but there is no doubt at all I think this is a terrific institution. Now, hundreds, thousands of people have contributed to that success, but if you've got a successful institution, it sort of doesn't happen by accident, and I think it would be churlish not to recognize that leadership has got something to do with the degree of success that any human institution achieves. So in that sense, I think it's, very fitting. I would like, we had a council meeting on Friday. I'm the chair of council, by the way, for those who don't know me, at which we thanked Alice for her contribution to this institution in many ways over 8 years. We're coming virtually to the end of that time now. And, I think that her contribution is something of which she can be incredibly proud. I think you can all be very proud of being part of Imperial, but as Alice prepares to move on to do other things, and I'm sure we haven't heard the last of her, then it would be wrong not to recognise that. So before we hear, you may want to respond afterwards. Before Alice actually addresses you, I'd like to just invite you to join me in a round of applause for everything that she's done. And I'll now hand over. By the way, I don't know if Alice is going to mention the University Challenge team, but that was just yet one more of our things. And I noticed the young lady there from Hitchin. I used to live very close to Hitchin, so Hitchin has a piece of my heart. Anyway, so every way, you guys have done fantastically well. Thank you. Alice.
Thank you very much, John, for that warm introduction, and thank you all for being here. And good afternoon. It is a special joy, this tradition we have of recognizing those in our community who have received external accolades, and they're sitting in the front, and you've seen their names going by on the screen. They're incredibly inspiring achievements, and there are more of them than ever. So you can spend some time watching those names scroll by and looking at the booklet we've created. Today we celebrate 76 members of staff, 13 students, and 39 alumni. And the accolades range from British Empire medals, winning University Challenge, and elections to academic society, fellowships, fellowship awards, and numerous prizes and medals. 8 members of staff and over 20 alumni were honored in the Queen's Birthday and New Year's honors lists. In particular, Professors Robin Grimes and Anthony Finkelstein were knighted. Professor Paul Elliott, Professor Peter Openshaw, and Wendy Barclay were awarded CBEs. Professor Allison Holmes was awarded an OBE, and Professors Carlo Contaldi, Azragani, and Dr. Justin Rowe were awarded MBEs. So we have a lot to be very proud of amongst our colleagues, and I congratulate all of you, and we've enjoyed reading about you on the screen. And of course, we're very proud of the college's Queen's Anniversary Prize for our response to COVID-19. Congratulations to you all. So it's perhaps natural to get a bit nostalgic on such an occasion as my 8th and last address as Imperial's president. The immensity of what we've been through and what we've accomplished adds to that feeling. I was surprised this past winter to hear from a classmate from the University of Southern California. A beloved dean of women, Dean Joan, had passed away and left in her wishes that her files be sent to the students she cared for. I found my handwritten letters to her from my travels in Europe, grad school at Princeton, my early years at Stanford, and my move to MIT. There was a treasure trove of memories, thoughts, and feelings long since forgotten, a tribute to all that she meant to me and to other students. Also in the file was my speech as USC's 1980 valedictorian. It was my first public speech. I had lost the speech, and I was gobsmacked to read it again. Even after these 42 years, it is strangely pertinent today. In looking back on what I said, I see my reverence for higher education, a belief that propelled me through my career to this amazing place. Let's look back for a moment to 1980 in the UK. There were steel strikes, strong disapproval of government. The SAS stormed the Iranian embassy to free hostages, an event filmed from an enterprising Imperial student's room in Weeks Hall. Inflation was 21.8%. The first episode of Yes, Minister was aired. Here is some of what my 22-year-old self said in California at that time. In these last 4 years, we were also faced with discouraging realities about the world. We picked up the morning paper to read about plane crashes, riots, Jonestown, the Hillside Strangler, international terrorism, and natural disasters. Thus, we look ahead with guarded dreams and subconscious fears. We hope for Rose Bowl Sundays, good times, a stable job, a house, and a pet dog. Yet we fear the possibility of war, economic crises, cold winters, hot summers, and fuel shortages. How will we, the class of 1980, individually and collectively cope with these problems outside the sanctity of the University of Southern California? These amazing parallels, fearing war, economic crises, cold winters, hot summers, and fuel shortages, cause me to ask ourselves, how will we cope with our problems today? I believed then, and more strongly now, in the power of education to instill confidence and to give students the confidence to be courageous facing the difficulties of today and tomorrow. We need to act courageously, and we have shown ourselves that we can. It was natural to insert acting courageously into our college strategy. When we put this section in, little did we know how much courage would be needed. There is no better example of acting courageously than through our coping with the unforeseen toll of a virus that maybe was not on our list of fears and worries in 2019. Reflecting on the first 9 months of the pandemic, in my autumn message in 2020, I wrote about my experience riding the ultimate roller coaster with my grown son. I was not particularly courageous to get on the beautiful wooden roller coaster going across the placid Yorkshire countryside. When the second lift hill catapulted us into a chaotic metal coaster with incredible forces, I was shocked, surprised, and I guess I mustered the courage to persist. This is what the pandemic felt like, being courageous when all is tumultuous around you. Our community was very courageous, adaptable, pragmatic, effective, and bold. We prevailed. There are far too many people to recognize individually for their courage throughout the pandemic. From volunteers, nurses, epidemiologists, instructors, doctors, researchers, students, security officers, PCR testers, lab technicians, to research administrators, public affairs managers, registry and admissions teams, literally everyone. We made devices, face shields, hand sanitizer. A few groups stand out in my mind. Our team from the Jameel Institute and MRC Center stuck their necks out and told us and the world what the pandemic might become. Our vaccinologists and virologists saw a crisis, put their scientific studies into action, creating novel vaccines, understanding animal transmission, and powering through the ups and downs of scientific work during a crisis. Our clinical scientists and infectious disease experts pursued crucial human challenge studies. Our experts clearly and effectively explained findings from clinical studies to the public. Our team took the lead in the pivotal REACT study, showing the world how the virus worked. Our staff and students forged new ways of teaching and learning. We've created new ways of assessing, pushing teamwork, and more. We've changed teaching spaces. Our staff in residence halls cared for students in sickness and health. Campus services fed everyone. Security kept us safe. Our computer technology group and countless others helped us learn to work effectively from a distance. We celebrated our first Queen's Anniversary Prize since 2007. I'm sure that there would be many more such accolades recognizing our courage and its benefit to society. We each acted in our own way, individually and collectively, with courage to make a difference to ourselves and others. This takes me back to my 1980 speech, where I addressed the need to have the courage to care. Individually, we will not have pat answers. Many times we will try to slip into our narcissistic shelters and try not to care. However, in college, we began facing realities and reaching turning points. We fostered individual opinions, stood up for them, and gained confidence in ourselves. I hope that these turning points, if nothing else, gave us the courage to care. I hope that we have gained the guts to crawl out of our suburban incubators and to give a damn about the world, its people, and its problems. Caring as individuals is the first step, and working together is the key. Our individual concern, manifest in individual and joint efforts, is the lever needed to reach our goals. We at Imperial do have the courage to care. Universities are called upon to care. We will need to stay courageous and be steadfast in our caring for our community and for those around us and for people around the world. It's intentional in our mission to achieve enduring excellence in research and education in science, engineering, medicine, and business for the benefit of society that our mission points to societal benefit. As I said decades ago, caring is the first step, and working together is the key. These past few years, Imperial has embraced outreach at new levels. We have built upon and amplified the fantastic work by the team at the Wool Reach Out Lab, where thousands of students have been inspired and motivated to pursue university education in sciences. As we moved into a new neighborhood with our White City campus, we opened our arms and our doors to new friends with new opportunities like the invention rooms. Implementing that vision with a proverbial lick of paint was gratifying, and we are so thankful for the confidence and support of generous donors like Merritt Mohn, David Dangor, and others. Seeing the Maker Challenges, What the Tech, Women's Leadership Program, and great community team on the ground epitomizes the courage to care. The School of Public Health in White City will enhance our impact on the community and the world. That courage to care will need to persist as we venture into new territory for Imperial, starting a math school aiming to bring more underrepresented children and girls into Imperial and universities like ours. This is a critical national need and should get the support of our community and others. We also care deeply about our own community. We responded to the hurt and anger brought about by the George Floyd murder, working with our wonderful Imperial as One group to develop new ways to bring people together to support one another and celebrate belonging. We created new scholarships to attract more underrepresented students. We ceased using the college's Latin motto and commissioned a group to examine the college's history and legacy. We have come together as a community to find ways to make all feel welcome. This is only the beginning, and we have more to do to understand one another and to build bonds where there are rifts today. We must continue to muster the courage to care. There are fundamental discoveries and ingenious inventions that change the world. Sir Alexander Fleming's insight from Petri dishes left over a holiday comes to mind. Such aha moments occur in our laboratories, workshops, and theaters throughout the year. It takes confidence to pursue a hunch, courage to take a contrarian view. We should applaud the courage our colleagues and students show when they discover something. Michelle Doherty saw a small signal only an expert could appreciate. She knew there was something to be seen on the small, icy moon Enceladus. To investigate her insight would mean changing the course of the Cassini mission. It would not be an easy sell. She saw an opportunity as the person who would make such a decision was in line for coffee at JPL. The right person at the right time. She had the confidence to make a case for the quest, made it convincingly, and the rest is history. The discovery of water and gases coming from Enceladus has been credited with changing the direction of planetary science. Confidence to have courage. I think that there is no better example of my youthful idea that universities should instill confidence to their students so that they can be courageous than through the We Innovate story. In 2014, one of my first visitors as the new president of Imperial was Alexis Durant St. James. She had a vision and an action plan and a donation. She had worked with Maggie Dahlman and her team to make history. At that time, we had virtually no women in our entrepreneurship competitions. None. Overnight, when offered their own competition, some 80 groups came forward. I'm proud that We Innovate has supported over 400 women with mentoring, coaching, pitch practice, and a network of entrepreneurs lasting far into the future. Now We Innovate women readily win other competitions in Imperial and across the UK. They have started companies, created jobs, and developed solutions to tough problems in health, agri-tech, environment, tech, and social care. Instilling confidence so that entrepreneurs can be courageous is an area where Imperial can really excel. Entrepreneurs need funding, space, and mentoring. We have new ways of supporting staff and student inventors and are continually seeking new funding sources. Our venture mentoring service brings experienced volunteers together with early-stage startup founders. We have incubators and now Scale Space to provide the space and community to start and grow your business. There's much more to do, and I think that Imperial, as a community, is gaining the courage to be bold in new models of an entrepreneurial campus, having co-location with businesses and other institutions, and placemaking that contributes to the success of such ventures. We can and we must continue to build these bold new ways to fuel innovation. Imperial is the most international and perhaps the most collaborative university in the UK. We need courage to continue to be so in a period of deglobalization. On the morning of the 24th of June, 2016, like many people, I woke up around 4:30 in the morning. It was already bright and sunny. I opened the BBC on my iPad to check the results of the referendum, and I couldn't go back to sleep. Our communications team was ready with both potential messages. I said, "Send it now, none of us can sleep." We said, Imperial is and will remain a European university, whatever your view of the referendum outcome. We went on to say we will vigorously defend our international values if they are threatened, and we will continue to think and act internationally. We have advocated for our international community, for visas and supportive immigration policies, and to combat the rhetoric that sometimes prevails in our media. I am proud of the international connections and partnerships we have built. We have forged new partnerships and supported seed funds with MIT, Technical University of Munich, and throughout the EU. Our mathematicians took the lead to create an historic collaboration with the Centre National de la Recherche Scientifique, CNRS. Since the referendum, we have been outspoken advocates for international collaboration. We welcomed the commitment to Horizon Europe as part of the Brexit deal, and we have worked tirelessly since then to get the UK and EU to an agreement against the backdrop of political negotiations. The government is expected to soon publish its thinking on alternatives to Horizon should the UK not be able to associate. While contingency measures and guaranteed investment are of course necessary and welcome, we remain clear that access to the full program is critical for Imperial. International collaboration is essential to the success of UK science, and we must continue to work with the UK and Europe to make this possible. We are expanding our work in Africa and India. Several years ago, our international relations team convened our many colleagues working in Africa, and they developed a strategy and actions that further our global partnerships. It is exciting to see our growing collaboration with the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, AIMS, to help develop future science leaders there. This week, we launched our first African Strategic Partners Seed Fund with AIMS and the African Research University Alliance, ARUA, for new education and research collaborations. And it's really gratifying to watch our Connecting Ghana program, built upon We Innovate, in collaboration with University of Ghana, making a difference there. They have plenty of talented women entrepreneurs who are benefiting from the mentoring, coaching, and support. Just today, we announced a new partnership with India's top research institute, the Indian Institute of Science, to support early-stage, risky, and blue skies research and education collaborations. This comes at a critical time when more students from India are choosing to study in Canada than any other place in the world. Our connections and visibility in India will add to the advocacy of our successful Indian alumni and perhaps turn this tide. These institutional efforts add to the thousands of smaller collaborations throughout the college. Imperial is truly an important asset to the world. There are many challenges to work on and many collaborations to build. We will need to advocate for policies that retain our freedom to collaborate and work with individuals from all over the world. We cannot blame individual students or academics for their leaders' behaviors any more than any of us would want to bear responsibility for the actions of some in our own countries. Tensions around the world are mounting. Countries are creating new alliances, and new divisions are emerging. It is more important than ever to bridge these gaps, and I know that Imperial can continue to lead in this if we retain the courage to defend those values. In a world where nationalism is overtaking globalism, we must still vigorously defend our international values and think and act internationally. We have also stepped out of our shells to shed our modesty and let the world know more about Imperial. Brave colleagues have represented Imperial at 8 Ideas Labs for the World Economic Forum in Davos and Dalian. Petakucha presentations are talks with the slides changing automatically and rapidly. They take tremendous courage and skill, and through them, with the help of our enterprise staff, our teams have shared their latest discoveries and insights with diverse audiences of business and government leaders and philanthropists. They've described synthetic biology, advanced materials, data-rich environments, and auspiciously, in January 2020, viruses and disease X. These presentations have built new and enduring relationships with new friends. In our 2015 strategy, we committed to building strong relationships with our alumni, and we recognized the benefits of lifelong connections among them. Since then, our alumni have stepped up to serve as mentors to students, to help with student recruitment, to advise our entrepreneurs, and to support and convene local alumni associations. We are proud of this work by our alumni relations team. Our outstanding heads of department and deans now send informative and interesting newsletters to our alumni. Our newly formed advancement team has helped us cultivate wonderful philanthropists. Old friends and new friends have confidence in us. They make courageous gifts, and they catalyze and amplify our impact. Their support, moving from an average of $14 million per year from 2006 to 2014 to around $50 million per year since 2016, is critical to our mission. Our deans, HODs, and academics are gaining confidence in these relationships and helping to drive this success. Partners who believe in us give us the courage to innovate. After the 1851 Great Exhibition, Prince Albert saw the need to extend the influence of science and art upon productive industry. Our neighborhood reflects this, and we have grown and improved our collaboration with the great museums and institutions next door. One exciting manifestation of Prince Albert's dream is in the Great Exhibition Road Festival, courageously built out of Imperial's festival, bravely closing Exhibition Road for the weekend and attracting tens of thousands of people. Kudos to our energetic team and our partners in the Exhibition Road Cultural Group. Keep working together, cultivate new friends and alumni. They believe in our mission and want to help. Shout about Imperial's greatness and close the road for more community events. This has been a lot for a university to take on. We're called to do more, and I know that we can, and we will. The future is bright as Imperial continues to act courageously. We will build our new math school. We will create a new medical school in partnership with the University of Cumbria. We will build relationships across the college, give all a sense of belonging and understanding one another. We will vigorously advocate for openness to international students, staff, and collaborations. And we will expand our innovation ecosystem at White City. Going back to my 1980 speech, as the historian William E. Woodward wrote in 1926, the turning points of our lives are not the great moments. The real crises are often concealed in occurrences so trivial in appearance that they pass unnoticed. These commencement exercises are not a turning point. The turning points in our growth occurred in a diversity of camouflaged events over the last 4 years. There were particular times here when each of us was touched individually, in personal ways that perhaps no one else felt. These events are the lasting legacy which the university experience provided for us, regardless of our major or our degrees. I feel the same way about my time at Imperial. The camouflage moments are perhaps the most enduring. One such event took place the other day when a receptionist in one of our buildings stopped me to say thanks and asked me to take a selfie with her. It touched me greatly and gave me a sense of the pride we share in working together at such a great institution. I will always care about Imperial and advocate for Imperial and for higher education. I will try to remain courageous in that advocacy, and I know that you will too. The future will require courage and fortitude. There is as much uncertainty as ever, even more than in 1980, as we once again fear war, economic disruption, and energy transition punctuated by crises and societal discord. Personally, many messages of support and inspiring stories of courage and wishing me to stay strong have helped me. I return that message to all of you. There will be bumps in the road, shoals to navigate, and ups and downs. Stay strong and be courageous. Thank you.
Now I suggest we make our way to the main entrance area for the unveiling and for some refreshment. Please join us. Thank you.